It's very special to have a new beginning here in Newbold, part of the broad Finland community. And Newbold is a wonderful name, and so newly and boldly we represent here Psychophonetics and Methodical empathy. We all know about IQ, which is intellectual quotient. We know about NQ, which is emotional intelligence. And I want to introduce to you MQ, EMQ, empathic intelligence, which is really a new dimension of intelligence. It's not how clever I am and clean analyzing you. It's about, do I get you from your own point of view? And you know what it does? If people feel understood from their own point of view, the whole system goes into peace. And I'm introducing empathy on the way to introducing psychophonetics because that's what it came to serve. A future of humanity, the future of us as community, the future of us as families, the future of us as inhabitants of this blessed earth has to do with, can we understand beings from their own point of view, or shall we just keep projecting our unconscious self on everybody?
I am the black and I am the white. I am the shadow and I am the light. And you'll see a devil in my eyes, but there's an angel by her side.
The difference between illusion of empathy and reality of empathy is self-empathy. I know when I'm in pain, I know when I'm in pleasure, I know when I'm tired, I know when I'm fresh. How do I know that? We can sense the organism. You can call it sense of life, you can call it sense of homeostasis. I know when I'm okay, when I'm not okay. That sense we can take further. And in psychophonetics, we have transformed the sense of life into a sense of soul. And that's where what I want to share with you today. Something is painful inside of me. Something is blocking inside of me. Something is crying inside of me. And it doesn't speak English. Well, nobody speaks English in the first year of one's life. And that never stops. We are still 1-year-old. We are still 2-year-old, 3-year-old. We are still all the ages, like a pine tree, all the rings at the same time. So how do I connect to it? Well, I can sense it. Every emotion, every memory, every experience we've ever been through, including embryonic and birth, sometimes even conception, including everything and sometimes even before this life, all lives somewhere in the body, but not physically, energetically. And we cannot all see it, some people can, but we can all sense it. Then we can gesture it. 10 fingers created our whole human civilization. 10 fingers created Finland. And with these 10 fingers, we can express everything that happens inside spontaneously and consciously at the same time. Then that creates a new kind of visualization. If I do something and I get out of it, I can see in my imagination where I was. And then the doubt comes and says, there's nothing there. And there's another voice says, no, there's nothing physically there, but I have been there and I can see it. Activating imaginative perception, not fantasy, imaginative perception. A perception of a reality that you have to be active to perceive, not passive. Then we move into the sounds. The sounds of human speech, the universal alphabet. The planetary system speaks vowels. Venus speaks ah, and Saturn speaks ooh, and Jupiter speaks oh, and Mars speaks eh, and the moon speaks I, and the sun speaks ow. And we have been created by them. And our physical body is created by cosmic forces that are echoing the human speech. Scorpion created in Sagittarius, and the waterman, and Virgo, b and p, and Leo, d and t. We have been created by these forces. And then they gave us a larynx, which is the future birth organ for humanity, and we speak one sound at a time, and create human language, which creates human culture, which creates human writing, which creates civilization. Take it out, and we are not human. That's the fourth element of psychophonetics, and that's its name. We can find a sound combination for every human experience once you express it in gesture, which means you can find the sound that destroys you and turn it around and release it. You can find the sound that heal and restore you, as we demonstrated last night, and enhance it and give it to you as a tool for self-healing. Sensing, gesture, visualization and sounds, this is psychophonetics. And it enables us to know whatever we want to know about yourself, to overcome what indigested experiences you have, and we are full of them, to resource, which is to invoke potential powers, which are ours, but potential, and make them into reality. And to join this healing process that happens 24 hours a day without our consciousness, like we don't do the garden unconsciously. We join nature to do the garden. We can join nature to do us and to heal us. And then we can do it for others. That's psychophonetics. So suppose I have a stomach crunch or tightness, which doesn't enable me to breathe very deeply just before I'm giving you a talk, and I talk like this. Suppose I'm tight and I don't know why, and I haven't done it and I don't know how to get out of it. And I say, I want to be free. I want to be free of that. What do I do? First, I have to state what I want. I want to be free of that. Because it doesn't enable me to breathe deeply and be myself.
That's your wish.
That's a wish. And then I say, okay, let's see what's going on. Let's check it out. My mind cannot get there, but my hands can. So I feel it. I sense it. And that's already waking up. I sense it. With the same way that I sense my stomach anyway. If I can know, if I'm hungry, I can also know that. And then I take my two hands and do it. And I didn't know before it looked like that, but now I do. Suddenly, something that was behind me is in front of me. I can also do it with my whole body. And then my body is telling me something that my mind cannot. I listen. And I get out of it. And the beauty of doing it consciously is that I can also undo it. If I get in consciously, I know how I got in, I can get out. Normally, I just fall into it. And then I look at him and I see this poor guy with tight stomach. And I see his nerve system is tightening him because something is frightened. And I say, why is he frightened? And I look beyond that and I can see some threat that is looking like that. From a few directions. Like, who the hell is that? And then I realize, it's me. I'm not so impressed by myself 24 hours a day. I actually have some judgment in me that says, you are not doing what you were supposed to do. I didn't know that. So I'm getting out of this too. I see this critique, this bastard of a critique that is all the time telling me there's something wrong with me. And then I say, who shaped that? And I look beyond that and I see few other figures in my life that invested a lot in doing this to me, which is completely normal. I'm not being sorry for myself. This is just what happened. We're a critical society. And I can see that I took it in and I applied it to myself. And some there in my stomach, there lives somebody who is a bit like what? I don't know. So I'm going back in there. And I become my stomach. And I see somebody that is like that. Because the world is not as safe as it was promised by God. What? I look at him and he looks to me something between 2 and 4, and it brings the whole scene up and just normal feeling alone for some reason, and at that moment nobody's with him and it's not rocket science to see what he needs, and I find it in me and I come and I do what a man can do when a child is suffering. We're all fathers, we're all mothers. And I just do some care. And I tell him that he doesn't have to be giving a lecture in Newbold today, because 2-year-olds don't normally do it in Newbold, do you? I just take care of it and say, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. And then I, Yehuda, that can say, it'll be all right. She'll be okay. I who can say that can lecture to you without cramp in my stomach. Well, something like that I'd like to do with you today.
So let's live for today. Oh, let's live for today. Oh, let's live for today. Make the most of every day. That's all we have.